the next week or so. We're awaiting qualifying for the Smart Modified Tour. First car that will be going out into the racetrack, a Pace-O-Matic number 16 VA. A little story behind that. NASCAR Cup Series winner Elliott Sadler making a return to racing here at South Boston Speedway, where he was a track champion years ago. Elliott Sadler had other commitments here today, so Junior Snow actually will be behind the wheel of that race car, and they have a little mission here during qualifying. They don't want to burn up those tires, but they just kind of want to scuff them in a little bit.
Yeah, you want to put that one heat cycle on them so that when you start the race, the tires aren't completely old and it throws Sadler for a loop. So this is going to be good just to kind of warm them up and really get those tires good for tomorrow.
So here we go with qualifying for the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award here today at this 4/10 of a mile racetrack. First car up will be the Pace-O-Matic number 16 VA. Behind the wheel of that out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, it's the Snowman Junior Snow. And Junior Snow, a winner in NASCAR modified competition at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He'll be competing there full time. Again, you can see those races live on Flow Racing. First lap on the racetrack for Junior Snow, 15:086, 15:086. Take it easy. Well, he's not taking it too easy. He's enjoying this opportunity to get behind the wheel of a bad, fast race car. 14:470, the lap of record. He sets the pace here after one car is out on the racetrack. So good time for Junior Snow, driving for Elliott Sadler. Sadler will be behind the wheel of that race car tomorrow here at South Boston Speedway. The number 23 on the racetrack now out of Hillsborough, New Hampshire, in the FleetInc.com, Joe Dara Enterprises, Better Way Supply, Canfield Plumbing Machine. It's Brad Zahansky. Brad with some success behind the wheel of race cars in New England, especially at places like Claremont Speedway. I've been to both of those racetracks, pretty bad to the bone racetracks up in State. First lap on the racetrack for Zahansky, 14:759, just a little bit behind, 0.3 of a second behind the second lap for Junior Snow. Let's see what Zahansky can do on his second lap. Zahansky, 14:530 in his first attempt here at South Boston Speedway. Currently second quick here in qualifying. And this guy had some success here last year. Driver the number 51 out of Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania. You gotta love that town. I want to visit it just listening to it. In the Harmon Funeral Homes, Waynick Construction, S.J. Kowalski Heating and Cooling Troyer Machine. This is Jaden Harmon. Harmon last year at South Boston Speedway in the King of the Modifieds, a 10th place finish. Pretty impressive. Top 5 in ROC modified competition last year as well. Let's see what he can do here. He's got 3 starts with the Smart Modified Tour. First lap on the racetrack, a 14:696, about 0.2 of a second off of it. And the 16 VA for Elliott Sadler, driven by Junior Snow. Let's see if he can pick it up here on his second lap. And he does. Moves to second quick, 14:492. And the reason why it is so important, not only for starting spot, but the top 8 after qualifying have the opportunity to redraw for their starting position in tomorrow's 125-lap race. You see the sticker tires on the 66 machine out on the racetrack right now out of Danielville, Pennsylvania, and a home-built race car with an RPM engine underneath the hood. LOI kits and LOI Industrial Services on the side of this car for Austin Koshnash. Austin making a second trip to South Boston Speedway to compete in the King of the Modifieds. Let's see what he can do on lap number 1. He takes the white flag, and Koshnash, 4th quick, 14:588. So he's going to have to pick it up here in the second lap, and that turn number 4 can be treacherous for a lot of these drivers. Nice and easy to the throttle he goes. Does it pay off? It does. Austin Koshnash goes to the top of the board with a time of 14:427. And again, it was Junior Snow behind the wheel of 16 VA, which will be driven tomorrow by Elliott Sadler. driver of the number 22. A little bit of a surprise here because he was behind the wheel of the number 21 earlier in the day out of Reedy Creek, North Carolina, in the Carolina Drilling Barrier Farms Fury machine. The next guy, Jimmy Wallace. Jimmy with rear end issues on his number 21 machine, and that's why he was behind the wheel of his teammate Jason Tuttero's car. Jimmy, the full-time competitor in the Smart Modified Tour. First lap on the racetrack for Jimmy Wallace, 14.512. 14.512. Driver 22 here today. Let's go to Derek Perniciglio. No, before we do that, a big wiggle by the number 22 coming off the corner. Jimmy Wallace almost bit it, Derek.
Well, you were talking about Jimmy Wallace having a tough day today, Bob. Of course, he had problems with the primary car, went to the number 22 car, but that didn't end there. The day started off with actually their hauler breaking down, so they had a tough time getting to the track. They got here late, and that put them behind the 8-ball all day.
Bad break for him, but at least he has that backup car that he can actually qualify with here for the King of the Modifieds event. Next up on the racetrack at Elizabeth, Connecticut, in the Dolly's Collision and Custom Legion Speedway Coke Sunoco Troyer machine. Drives this car for his 5CT of Chris Pastriak, a multi-time modified racing series champion, 13-time winner in that series. Pastriak to the top of the board on his first lap, 14.56, first driver in the 14.3 area. So he's looking good, a lot better than he did earlier today, and he improves it on his second lap. 14.296, the time to beat now during Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying for the Smart Modified Tour. Earlier today, this number 33 machine, I was just given a note, clutch issues, and that's why he got a little push right there, hoping to fire it up, but right now, does he get it going? Indeed, he does. Karsten D. John Tomaso in the number 33 machine, a part-time competitor for the last year or so out of Jackson, New Jersey, in the 1-800 Autoland John Blewett Inc. Troyer machine with that Nordwick engine underneath the hood. Right now, trying to get up to speed, coming to the green flag, but having some sort of difficulty with this race car. Looks like Karsten is just going to take the green flag, not really get up to speed. They have some work to do still to that race car to get that clutch issue situated. So he'll probably pull down into turn number 3 on pit road. Does not do that. He'll go turn 3 and 4, and I believe you'll see this car. Maybe I'm wrong. Absolutely, I'm not wrong. And what's going on, Derek?
Well, you guys were just talking about Karsten D. John Tomaso having a tough day out there today. Obviously, he's rolling down the front straightaway right now. But an interesting side note about D. John Tomaso, when he's not racing and driving a race car, he's fighting MMA.
That's pretty wild. That's something I didn't know. Oh, so that's a pretty, maybe Derek. Here's the next driver on the racetrack, the number 20 machine out of Callaway, New Jersey, in the Jersey Shore Contracting Iron Revolution LBI Pest Control FNO race car, brand to modified racing for Jerry Cradle. It's Paulie Hartwig III. Hartwig, so good at New Smyrna Speedway. Earlier this year, back during Florida Speed Weeks, 1 tour type modified win, 2 great modified wins, and Hartwig goes to the top of the board. 14.140, quickest time, not only in the first lap, but all together during qualifying here. He's got the fastest time. Can he improve? Maybe get down to the 13-second bracket. Just misses that here. 14.012. By the way, just in case you're wondering, the track record here set a couple of years ago by Luke Baldwin in 13.6. So next car on the racetrack out of Walnut Port, Pennsylvania, and the Katie Wolf Trucking, Lewith and Freeman Real Estate, Harry's Pullet Troyer machine for Jake Chrisman. Chrisman has gotten a lot of experience, but not in the modified. He had 2 top 5s last year in the Racing Champions Modified Series, but a lot of people know him for his super stock prowess up in the he's done well in the New York Super Stocks as well as the ROC Super Stocks. First lap on the board, and Chrisman goes 14.414, first lap, third quick. start with the Smart Modified Tour. Can he unseat Hartwig at the top of the board? Second quick, 14.171 for Chrisman. Great run by Jake in that number 48 machine. You can't miss that car on the racetrack at all. Pulling off, Austin McDaniel in the number 14 machine, one of those Racing Electronics Rookie of the Year competitors with the Smart Modified Tour. He hails from Harrisburg, North Carolina, with a Honda of Concord. Edward Jones Management, the Knorr Group of Alcova Mortgage Company. Kevin Hughes is the car owner on this machine. It's a Troyer car with a Tony's engine underneath the hood. As we mentioned, a two-time late model stock car champion, Austin McDaniel. McDaniel learning the modified ropes here, and it can be a tough place to learn a race car. 14.322 in his first attempt here at South Boston Speedway. Pretty impressive run for him so far in qualifying. Can he pick it up a little bit? And he does. Second quick, 14.110 for Austin McDaniel. Good run for that Honda of Concord race car. Here's another one of those Racing Electronics Rookie of the Year competitors now on the racetrack for his qualifying effort. He's out of Northport, Long Island, New York, in the William Team Platinum Pressament.com Skip Barber Racing School PSR machine. This is Will Lambros in the 77. Lambros using all of that 600 horsepower underneath the hood of this car, and he almost didn't get turned coming off of turn number 2. A little bit of a butterfly moment for Will Lambros here as he takes the white flag. Let's go to Derek.
You guys are just down there talking about Will Lambros, but he has a veteran crew chief turning the wrenches on that car this year. Eddie Harvey, who has won championships in the NASCAR Wheeling Southern Modified Tour. He's had success with Andy Seiss. He's also had success with Jamie Tomeno in the past. Now turning the wrenches on that 77 car of Will Lambros.
Yeah, Eddie Harvey has worked with so many good drivers over the year. Andy Seiss, George Brunholzl III, and so many others. His dad owned cars for the likes of Jamie Tomeno and more, from Wall Stadium to the NASCAR Wheeling Modified Tour. Next driver on the racetrack overall so far here in qualifying. Out of Ontario, New York, in this Detroit machine, it's Trevor Catalano. Catalano with one win on the NASCAR Wheeling Modified Tour a couple of seasons ago. Hampshire, one of the many Catalanos that race modifieds across the Northeast. White flag in the air. Catalano second quick with that number 56 machine. 14.081. Catalano hoping to pick up some steam coming off the corner and get a little bit sideways, and that's going to hurt him, I believe, a little bit indeed. His second lap not as quick as his first, so Catalano stays second overall. Smart Modified Tour Wars. One of the veterans with more than 150 wins in his career. They call him Showtime. He's out of Howell, New Jersey, in the VCU Massey Comprehensive Cancer Center John Blewett Inc. PSR chassis machine. This is a PSR house car for Blewett. We'll see what he can do here. I know his buddy Skip Flores is actually watching today. Broadcast with Skip next week at Martinsville Speedway live on Pro Racing. Blewett, fourth quick first lap, 14.125 for the veteran racer. 100 wins at Wall Stadium Speedway alone, and great to see that trend. Blewett second quick on his second lap, 14.045, just misses fellow New Jersey driver Paulie Hartwig III. Here's another teenager learning the ropes of modified racing, and he's a fourth-generation modified racer out of the Myers family from Walnut Cove, North Carolina. And the Bryson Brothers Aerial Solutions electric PSR car. This is Slate Myers. Slate Will told you something earlier today. It seemed like he had a little bit of nerves going into the session.
He mentioned about how tight this field is and how you have to be mistake-free on your laps if you want to be in that top 8.
Myers 14.180 on the second lap. Trying to go easy back to the gas pedal here. Will it improve him? And it does. He bumps up to third quick. Another one of those drivers, 4 overall in the 14.02 bracket. A 14.04.5 for young Slate Myers. Here's a guy that's been pretty busy over the last couple of weeks since we last saw him in Henderson, South Carolina. Jack Baldwin became a dad, and he and his girlfriend doing very well, baby as well. Beautiful daughter for Jack and his young family right now, and now he's back in his office in the Stoke Shoes number 7 NY machine. Jack best finish in the Smart Modified Tour second place run. He's out of Mooresville, North Carolina in this race car here today at South Boston Speedway. And Baldwin, good qualifying effort, 6 quick on his first lap, 14.130. By the way, I can't believe his dad, Tommy, is now a grandpa. He said that's a moniker that he's going to be very proud of for quite some time. Baldwin will jump up to second quick, 14.030. Paulie Hartwig III remains top on the speed charts here, about halfway through qualifying. Next up on the racetrack, he drives the number 7 VA. He too out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Pace-O-Matic, Stanley Law Group, and Mohawk Northeast on the side of this race car by Bill Stanley and Hermie Sadler. And we know Hermie Sadler, how much he loves South Boston Speedway. Was a regular here back in the day in the late model stock car ranks. This is a PSR chassis with a lot of Baldwin, the 2-time and defending Smart Modified Tour champion. Baldwin bests his brother on his first lap, 14.017. He's got to pick up 5/1000ths of a second to unseat Paulie Hartwig. Can he do it? Fast time so far in qualifying for Luke Baldwin. Baldwin hoping to rebound after a tough outing in the season opener in Timminsville, South Carolina back in late February. Justin Minson, by the way, holding the stop-and-go sign at the end of pit road. This driver, a former winner with the Smart Modified Tour out of Jackson, New Jersey, in the North American Construction Candlewood Landscaping team. Scott Carter, Fury machine for Justin Gumley. It's the wild child, like Barney. Yesterday here at South Boston Speedway, a little bit of a wiggle there for Barney coming to the white flag, but Barney is pretty quick here. 8th quick overall, 14.131. Barney holds it down below the yellow line coming off of 4. Barney will move to 4th quick overall, 14.034. You brought this up earlier. We'll take a look at how close the qualifying is in that top 10 so far.
Yeah, it's really, really tight. That top 8 is less than 1/10 of a second separating each other. So you have to be flawless, just like Slate mentioned, if you want to be any chance of the redraw.
Out of Medford, New York, in the Hydro Action Sludgehammer Industrial Solutions prototype fabrication car for Joe Denseski, it's and Max Handley in the number 45. This is a good-looking race car, by the way. It just looks fast here in South Boston Speedway. White flag in the air. First lap is complete. And Handley, 10th quick overall, 14.265 for Max Handley, 13th quick in practice earlier today. Handley, Racing Electronics Rookie of the Year competitor, moves up a little bit on his second lap, 14.107 for Handley in the 45. This has been a fast race car, one of only 3 drivers who have led laps in the first 2 events of the season for the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic out of Newport, Tennessee, in the Mount Airy Toyota Cherokee Underground, the drive shop prototype race car. This is the Snake, Jake Crum, and the 1JC. Jake Crum, this is his own team this year. So far, he's fast again. Best first lap so far, 14.005. 13.998 8 for Luke Baldwin, the top time. And Crum get it does. Jake Crum, the snake, to the top of the board in Smart Modified Tour qualifying for the King of the Modifieds at South Boston Speedway.
And it looked like he was a little loose there. And you know what they say in racing? Loose is fast. As Crum puts it at the top of the board by 1/1000th of a second.
One of 2 winners in the Smart Modified Tour in 2026, now on the racetrack out of Freehold, New Jersey. And Stoneworks Online Partners, BKA Properties, Dancer Farms, Troyer Machine, and Spec Engine underneath the hood for Danny Bone in the 25. Danny, 11 races over the course of the last half a year or so, 9 finishes in the top 5 with 3 victories, and Bone is pretty fast. I know he's going to want to do a little bit better than what he did on his first lap. 14.148. This is a track where he's led laps. Best finish is 3rd at South Boston Speedway, but Bone hoping to put it in the top 8 and does barely. Right on the bubble for the possible redraw. 8th quick for Danny Bone, 14.067.
And coming out of 2, he really had to fight that race car, so he kind of lost a lot of time coming out of 2, and if you're Bone, you just kind of hope you put a little bit better of a lap together.
Are you ready for the Mac Attack? That's what's on the racetrack right now. Out of Babylon, New York, in the Jamie and Cheryl owned machine. That's an FNO race car for Sean McIlerney. McIlerney, 3rd generation race car driver, and he too looks like a little bit for McIlerney. He won the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award earlier this year at the season opener in Florence, South Carolina. McIlerney, first lap on the racetrack. Slow. Was not expecting him to be down in the 20th spot after his first lap on the racetrack, but McIlerney jumps up a little bit, 13th quick overall. And remember, when he went down to Anderson, South Carolina a few weeks ago, those were the first laps in that race car. Here's a kid, he's a teenager who was pretty quick earlier today in practice. Driver of the number 40 machine. He's a 2nd generation driver. His dad is Jamie McMurray, former Daytona 500 winner. Carter McMurray out of Cornelius, North Carolina, in the Bass Pro Shops. PSR number 40 with HendrickCars.com on the back of that car for the first time in his career.
A little bit of updated paint scheme too. This 40 car just looks gorgeous on the track.
Yeah, he has a top 5 to his credit in Smart Modified Tour competition. McMurray 12th quick, 14.154. He was really smooth, took a bunch of laps in practice earlier today. Let's see if he can improve just a little bit here as he takes the checkered flag, and McMurray does improve to 10th quick. Derek?
You know, you were just talking about Carter McMurray out there driving the number 40 car. His crew chief on the car this weekend is Darren Shaw, who is actually a Cup crew chief for the number 62 team in the NASCAR Truck Series. So, Carter McMurray has a crew chief with a wealth of experience behind him turning the wrenches on that car this weekend.
Out of South Bend, Indiana, the number 2 machine on the racetrack. Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Capital Automotive Group, and Aggressive Hydraulics on the side of this PSR car. Renfro in this machine for the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman. Newman, 3 wins last year. He's got a runner-up a couple years ago in Smart Modified Tour competition, but he's going to have to pick it up a little bit here. 6 quick, 14.042. Can he get to the top of the heap here today? Only 2 cars in the 13-second bracket. Well, guess what? Add another car. Ryan Newman to the top of the board, 13.927. Quickest so far in qualifying for the Smart Modified Tour.
That car looked like it just handled perfectly for the situation and just able to shoot to the top with just a great driving race car.
Polaris Outdoors, Kevin says yes.com on the side of this 04 machine. Black and blue this year for the driver out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina in this Fury machine. It's 2-time NASCAR modified champion at Bowman Gray Stadium, Brandon Ward. Brandon, a good run for him last year here, contending for the win until late in the going. Ward, 12th quick on his first lap. Did not take as many practice laps earlier today as a lot of the other competitors. They were very happy with that race car. Let's see what Ward does on his second lap. Goes all the way to second. 13.941. How about that? Now 4 drivers in the 13-second bracket. It'll be 5 at the end of this driver's run. And the number 1 machine out of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, in the Citrus Ave Cleaners Choice Tire Generator Super Center, Renegade Fuel Backyard Leisure Pool and Spas PSR. His wife Kim owns this car for the ace, Burt Myers, a 3-time Smart Modified Tour champion.
What I'm watching for is these cars exiting 2, and who can keep the wheel steady. Great exit there for Burt, and it seems like the cars that can keep that straight wheel out at 2 are the ones that are turning these sub-14 laps.
That car wanted to break free coming off the corner, but he was able to keep it under control. 15th quick, 14.132. He's got to do a little bit better. Burt Myers wants to be in the rear, have to be in the at that. Burt Myers will remain 15th quick overall. No, he does not. I apologize. Scoring updated a little bit slow right there. Burt Myers, the ace, jumps to second quick. 13.939. I think this track is getting just a little bit quicker as we go on in qualifying. Still a handful of cars left. This driver out of Norwalk, Connecticut, the FH Future Homes Blue Mountain machine, load and lock self-storage, all-trade construction Fury machine with that Robert Yates Racing engine, spec engine underneath the hood for Ron Silk in the 16. Silk, 2-time NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour champion, led 34 laps in the King of the Modifieds last year. Silky always fast in qualifying, and he is again here today at South Boston. 13.991. The start, in addition to last year back in 2019 when the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour visited South Boston Speedway. Ron Silk is silky smooth here at this 4/10 of a mile oval. Quickest so far in qualifying, 13.789 for driver 16. Out of Miami Springs, Florida, in the Brembo Brakes Molecule Sports, Walker Performance Filters, Driver Fine, SRI Performance, Bilstein Shocks machine, that's easy for me to say, and a Fury race car. It is the Gray Ghost 02 for Joey Coulter. Coulter, a 2-time winner in the Smart Modified Tour, but man, he's had a tough start to the season.
He really has, and it's really nice to see him with this speed, and you just gotta hope he stays consistent with it as he jumps to 6th on the first lap with a sub-14.
Pretty impressive. Joey Coulter, 6 quick. What will he do as he crosses the finish line here, coming to the checker? Joey Coulter will jump up to 5th quick, Derek.
Yeah, nice, strong run for Joey Coulter, especially after having a rough week. That's the second car they've gone through. This car that he's in today was a bare frame earlier in the week. They destroyed their other car at Caraway last Saturday, so they brought this car out, and it just got reclipped, and they scrambled all week to get it together, and a good, strong run for Joey Coulter going to 6th, going to 5th.
We are excited about this next car, expecting a strong run out of him because he was very fast in practice. Out of Orchard Park, New York, in the USNE CR Creative Wildell Communications, Marnell Hedquist is the crew chief on this machine for Patrick Emmerling in the 1 New York. Emmerling, 2nd quick, first lap. That's the quickest first lap of record during qualifying. 13.819. Hoping to improve by less than 1/10 of a second to go to the top of the board. Does he do it? No, he does not. He remains 2nd quick. Just a little bit of a slip up there, and we thought that some of these first laps would be the quickest of all for these drivers here today. Just 2 cars left in qualifying. Here is the 1CT now coming out onto the racetrack. This driver finished 2nd in the King of the Modifieds last year out of Newtown, Connecticut. In the Karchner Warehouse and Logistics, Franzosa Construction, Harry's You Pull It, Newtown Pools, Troyer Machine for Stephen Kopsick. This is a good-looking race car, brand new machine for Kopsick today here at South Boston Speedway. Might have some problems with his engine after that qualifying run. Stephen Kopsick goes 4th quick, 13.929 for the driver of the black and silver number 1. We are getting further Myers, Burt saying, as they tried to refire the engine as he pulled to pit road, it does not sound right, so we will keep you updated on that. I'm sure Derek Pernick-Siglio will have all the scoop on that. Here is the final car on the racetrack for Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying, and he was quickest earlier today in practice, driving the number 15 at Lexington, North Carolina. Our transmission, Steve's Tire and Automotive, and QMF Metal Fabrication on the side of this PSR car. For Shady Grady Racing, it's the kid, Carson Lofton. Third quick first lap, 13.884. Could Silk go down? To the line we go. Last car, quickest overall. Carson Lofton will pick up the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award here today for the King of the Modifieds at South Boston Speedway. You knew Carson Lofton would be quick, always very fast in qualifying. He won at Caraway Speedway last week in an open